Hello and welcome to Bradbury TV, the internet's most passionate blog for coaches, trainers, consultants and speakers, people like us. And today's very Christmas edition of the show. I'm sorry, I was out of tinsel, so I had to go for lights. Okay, but in today's Christmas edition of the show, I'm going to give you a very, very, very special Christmas gift. In fact, for some of you, this will be the best Christmas gift you'll ever get. No, it's not a pony, as was promised in the previous episode, but it is actually the gift of how to get yourself completely debt-free within the next 12 months. And I guarantee the 3 steps I'll be sharing with you later in this video will be unlike anything that you've ever heard before. Now, first, we've got some special acknowledgements that we need to make. In the previous episode, we spoke about product creation, and I challenged you to create some new products within 7 days and get them on sale. How did you do? Well, the following people succeeded. That is John Daniels, Dave Kibbe, Sue Courtney, Michelle Henshaw, Toby Milden, Sue Garner and Chris Matthews. A special Dan Bradbury salute. That was that. Goes out to you, and you also get rewarded with $100 Dan dollars. What is a Dan dollar, you might ask? Well, it's exactly the same, funnily enough, as a British pound, except Dan dollars are exclusively to be spent inside my store, i.e. for any future purchases of Dan Bradbury products or seminars. Dan Bradbury products or seminars, $100 Dan dollars making our way to each of you guys on the list. Congratulations, well done. Let's get down to business. Let me get out of this stupid outfit somehow. All right. I want it to seem at least semi-Christmassy, so let's put some lights on the back there. There you go. Lovely, beautiful, festive. Okay, so I had a very interesting phone call this week. I actually received a phone call from a very well-known guru in this industry, very high profile, who's got himself into some deep financial troubles. Now, I wish I could say this was rare. You know, it's not that, I believe that there's a load of fraudsters in this industry, not that way at all. It's that there's a very big difference between making money and keeping money. And because of my own story, my own background, typically every few months or so I get a phone call from somebody who's quite well known, that feels they have an image and a reputation to protect, that wants help because they've got themselves in a load of debt and a bit of a financial mess. So here's a simple 3-step system to getting you out of debt, and it's unlike anything you've heard before. Let me illustrate it by telling you my story. So going back 7 or 8 years, I was running an accelerated learning business, and I was documented as being one of the fastest readers in the world, and I wanted to teach this stuff to children. The problem was I didn't know how to get into schools and make money at it. So I went and found, rather than learning the skills myself, I thought, I will find somebody who's good at that stuff. And I went and found a business partner, and the deal was, look, you take care of the business side and get us the business, I will take care of the delivery side. However, there was one very significant problem. Because I didn't know what good looked like from a marketing and sales perspective, how did I know that my business partner was any good at it? I didn't. And the very short version of the story is 12, 18 months later, I found myself £109,000 in personal debt. A debt that's not company debt, that's debt that was attributed to me because it was a partnership. So I was liable to pay it all back. As my dad said to me at the time, he said, Dan, that takes a special kind of stupid to rack up that huge amount of debt. And they said to me, it's over. You need to declare bankruptcy and be done with it. Be done with it. Declare bankruptcy. He said, because I figured out if I got a regular kind of job at that time, because I didn't really have any qualifications, with the disposable income I would have, it would take me over 38 years to pay all that debt off. So people said, look, you know what, you made some mistakes, just declare bankruptcy and be done with it. I didn't want to do that. because fortunately I've kind of weighed up in my mind two things. First of all, I felt like I'd borrowed the money. It was my duty to repay it. But secondly, I was fortunate enough to recognize that debt wasn't the problem. I thought the problem was the debt and getting rid of the debt, but really my issue was that I wanted to be able to grow my own business, but I didn't know how to sell and market myself. So I'm in all this debt, and now I'm starting to get chased down by collection agencies and bailiffs. And after one particularly nasty phone call where they were threatening to come around and take all my stuff, have you ever had one of those moments where something inside your head just snaps? And I went, you know what? I can't be bothered pretending to fight this. You know, I was scared and intimidated by their threats to come around and take my car or take my belongings or, you know, damage my credit. So, you know, when they were getting aggressive, I just went, fine. Come on, come around, take it all. I don't care. Just, you know what? I'm really not bothered. And instantly, something very curious happened. They totally backed off. And that was the first big distinction that I made. It was a power shift. So the first guide to kind of getting yourself out of debt is recognize who has the power. Because I borrowed this money and I spent it, wasted it, whatever, and they wanted it back. So they didn't have the power I did. Sure, they could damage my credit or threaten to take my stuff, but really, if you're not attached to that stuff, they ultimately just want their money back. So I just went to them and said, look, here's the deal. I've got all this debt. I don't have a way of paying it back currently. I'm thinking about just declaring bankruptcy. And if I declare bankruptcy, you get nothing. If, however, you get off my case and give me a chance to get back on my feet, I will pay you back the money. Well, what are they going to do? They agreed, all my creditors agreed to take a £1 payment per month, or sometimes it was £5 or £10, a minimal payment per month. Even on a massive loan of 20 grand, I was paying £10 a month, whilst I got back on my feet. So the first thing that I did was I recognized that there was a huge power shift, and it was actually me that had all the power, and they really didn't have anything over me. But then next what happened was I had to get clear. Most people, again, you know, debt isn't the problem. Fear is the problem with that first shift. The fear of what's going to happen. Well, the way that you overcome that is recognize who has the power, and then step 2 is get absolute clarity on where you're at. Get a list of your debts, what your monthly payments are, what the percentage APR is that you're paying. Get totally clear on what it is your current situation. Because how can you solve it unless you know where it is? So you've got to define it very, very clearly. And then the way that I did it was I defined the money that I owed in descending order. So with the biggest amount at the top and the lowest amount at the bottom. And then what I did was I created a plan for, first of all, I negotiated with my creditors so that I could afford the current monthly payments. And then any excess money I was going to earn, I was going to dedicate to paying off the smallest debt first. Now, some of you are probably saying, well, shouldn't I pay off the one with the highest APR first? Yes, intellectually, that would make the most financial sense. However, emotionally, it doesn't. You're better off taking the smallest debt and getting it clear, because psychologically, when you pay off that small debt, a store card, a credit card, whatever, you'll feel a huge emotional lift that will propel you forward. So let's say you're paying all your minimum payments and you've got £50 extra a month in income. And we're going to come on to the income part in a second, just hold on. You apply that extra £50 to the smallest debt. So you're paying the minimum payment on the small debt plus £50. When you clear that debt, you take the £50 plus that minimum payment you were paying, let's say £10. So you take £60 and you apply that whole £60 to the next debt up plus the minimum payment. And it creates a snowball effect to pay off your debt. But that can only happen if you get clear with what is. And I'll tell you this, if you get clear, you'll find whether the situation, one of two things will happen. The situation is better than you thought it was, or the situation is a lot worse than you thought it was. But either way, I guarantee you'll feel better once you have the clarity on the situation. And that leads me on to step 3. And this is a thing that, you know, Citizens Advice Bureau, a lot of these companies that advise people on debt fail the most important step, and that's this. most people's attitude to debt is that you need to cut back until you pay it off. That's stupid. That's really, really, really stupid, because look, you can cut back, but if you've got a load of debt, you're trying to deprive yourself in the moment. And the human mind, the human brain, we're impulse creatures. We like comforts now. So you can cut back and deprive yourself, but that's like going on a diet. That's a financial diet. And how often do diets work? Not very often. There's a much better, more effective strategy. You ready for it? Earn more money. Look, if you're spending, the reason why you're in debt is because you've spent beyond your means. So you can either cut back on what you're spending, so you're spending within your means, or you can earn more money. You can expand your means. I know which I'd rather do. So here was my thinking. I said, look, I've got all this debt. It's on minimum payments, but it's going to take me decades to pay this off. So I could write it off, but even if I write it off, I'm still not going to have the lifestyle that I want. I'm still going to have to forever live within my means. So if I want to create more for myself and for my family and my friends, and add more to the world and create more experiences for myself and enjoy life more of what life's got to offer, I want to expand my means, because the only way you get paid money consistently in today's world is by adding more value. That's what money is. It's an exchange of value. So you add value to somebody by providing a service, they pay you for that service. So if you're going to consistently earn lots of money, the only way you're going to do that in the long term is by adding value. So really I said, look, what I want to do is find a way of making lots of money, because A, I can pay off the debt faster. But once I've paid off that debt, if instead of taking 10, 20, 30 years to pay off the debt, I can get it paid off in 1 year. If I can pay off my £110,000 of debt in 1 year, then I'll have that ability to earn money thereon ever since. You see, I didn't know how to sell and market myself. I didn't know how to earn money, but I committed myself to that task and threw myself into it to pay off the debt in 1 year. And you know what? I failed. It took me around about 18 months. But because of developing the skill of learning how to sell and market myself, where I was hopeless before, I transformed my business, I transformed my life. And ultimately, that's what led to me to specializing in sales and marketing and talking to you today. So, what do you need to do to get out of debt? Realize who's got the power. You have the power. Look, you haven't done anything illegal by getting in debt. They're not going to throw you in prison. Well, unless you've evaded tax, in which case you better watch out. But they're not going to go to prison. Nothing really bad is going to happen to you other than damaged credit. Not really, and they may take some of your stuff. Okay? So, and by the way, that won't happen if you're honest with them and say you want to pay it back, but they need to give you time to get back on your feet. That's step one. Recognize who has the power. Step two is get clarity. Get clarity on what the position is. Priority order. Start paying off the lowest one first. So you've minimized the payment. Apply the money to the lowest debt first. And step three, earn more money. Commit yourself to finding ways to forever add more value to other people's lives. You'll get rewarded. You'll pay off the debt, and you'll have a lifestyle. You'll have developed a skill that will serve you for the rest of your life. So, that's it for today's episode. One minor announcement, which you may want to be aware of, is if you want to know how to make a lot of money really quick, in the first quarter of 2012, I'm going to be running a premium price workshop. What's this workshop going to be all about? It's going to be all about how to sell premium price seminars, products, mastermind groups, etc., coaching programs, etc. So if you want to know how to package what you do and sell it in bundles for £2,000, £5,000, £10,000 and more for one sale and really transform your financial future, comment below. Let me know if you'd like to know more about the Premium Price Workshop, and I'll put you on a notification list and send you the info before anybody else. That's it for today's show. I hope to see you soon. We should have one more show before Christmas, but if not, have a very Merry Christmas, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.